about the three easiest welding businesses to start. Because someone asked me, inboxed me about some of their decisions on starting this type of business or starting this. And a lot of times we overthink the process. Like we put too much into it, thinking it'll take too much, or we'll complicate it. And for someone to come in and tell us to do something simple, it almost seems like, oh man, is that all? Sometimes that's all you have to do. But we tend to complicate things because we're not fully educated on business. So it's always good to get educated on business. So once we get this trade and we learn our skill and we say, okay, how can I turn this into a business? How can I actually work for myself? How can I gain some financial wealth and some generational wealth and live life and enjoy life, go places, enjoy your loved ones, things of that nature. So I'm gonna give you the three easiest in my personal opinion welding businesses to start. And the first one is very simple: welding repairs. Welding repairs, stuff always break down, and if you don't have licenses to get on big company contracts to do repairs, there's always local repairs in your community. There's always someone that does gardening or yard work or landscaping or some type of residential repairs, and they might need some work on their trailers or some equipment that might break, that it'd be better to weld the equipment than go buy something new. So welding repairs will always be needed. All you have to do is actually get you some business cards, start passing them around, and said, I do basic repairs. So if you only have a small setup, and this is small setup, we talking about Lowe's, Home Depot getting started, pawn shop, yard sale getting started. We're talking about starting with a 110/120 machine. It don't even have to be a multi-processor. If you just enjoy stick, you can do stick. But I would say it'd be cool if you can get you one to do stick and MIG, because most of the field stuff you have to do with stick and MIG welding, which is flux core and also 7018 rods, 6011 rods, 6013 rods. So if you can have a basic setup like that, and that doesn't cost much. Like I'm talking about getting started under $1,000. Especially if you already have a vehicle, and you don't even have to have a truck. You can pull up with the stuff in your back seat or in your trunk. I've seen it, you know what I'm saying? And people still get in the bag. It's all about the equipment and the knowledge you have. So to me, repairs is the number one easiest thing to start in welding, because you can put yourself out there on Facebook Market. You can actually pass it around to friends. You can get it circulated. Hey, that's what you're doing. When other people know it, it can actually help you start a business. But that's a simple way to get started. And then as you grow, you can start getting bigger contracts and doing bigger things. But you can actually start that small. So number two would be welding fabrication. So if you're a fabricator, if you can fabricate anything, there's a lot of people that need simple fabrication things done, that may have an idea to fix something, and you fabricate that product. Or they get some prints done from someone and they need someone to build their idea or their set, and then someone else will come and pick it up to ship it to wherever it's going, but you fabricated it. That's still good money, and it doesn't take a whole lot. It all just depends on what type of fabrication you want to do, you know. So then again, like I said, you can start off with a small unit, do basic stuff, but when you're doing like more of a commercial, or you start building up, then you want to get you a better unit, but using a MIG unit, flux core unit, or a you got different type of wires and gases you can burn to get good penetration. So it all depends on what type of things this is. If it's structural, if it's ornamental, fabrication, is it just a design, if it's just art, some things can just be art. So it all depends on what you're doing. But to me, that can also be a easy way to get started if you have the skills. If you already have the skills, just networking yourself, man, putting yourself out there, a lot can happen if you do that. So I just wanted to say that, because sometimes we complicate things and we think we have to get big insurance, and by no means I haven't even said insurance yet, because you don't really need that to do any of these things yet. You know what I mean? So I want to show you what you can do on a small budget to get your money up. And then you can get the insurance, the truck, the lifestyle, the home, whatever. But we have to start with one way. And we have to start with utilizing what we have, which is our skills. So the third thing would be welding installation. And I'm gonna say that because welding insulation, a lot of times you don't do a whole lot of welding. Sometimes it just be connecting ends and pieces. It might be more installing and then welding up the finishing touches. You see what I'm saying? So being a field welder that can actually weld in the field, and that a lot of fabrication shops need good installers. Like, you can find people to work in the shop in a controlled environment a dime a dozen a lot of times. I mean, but when it comes to getting in the field, doing the installation, taking the measurements, knowing how it's supposed to look, don't have to go back 1,000 times to the job to lose money. You want to go there, make sure everything done. Proper preparation prevents piss poor performance where you ain't got to come back. You know what I mean? So the goal is, and even though you still have errors from time to time, but the goal is to try to minimize the return on always going back to fix something or not having something correct. So if you're a good field installer, if you're a good welder and you can install, that's easy money, because a lot of times you can do that too without insurance. If you got if you're a sole proprietor and you just say, hey man, I'm just working for me, I'm just self-employed, 10-9. A lot of people will 10-9 you, and you can work under their insurance to actually do the job. So it all depends on how, the game is a lot different now. But we're gonna have to learn how to utilize our skills to actually get some finances. So I wanted to talk about those three things because I think in 2021 we need to just open up our mind more on how easy things can be. I heard a story before I let you go of a king who was trying to get healed. He was willing to spend half his fortune or all his fortune just to save his life. And he went to someone, this prophet, and he was told about this prophet. So he went to him, and the prophet told him to do something very, very, very simple. And he almost got upset, thinking like, I'm willing to do whatever. You tell me to do this. This is all I got to do, you know? And one of his right hand mans was like, sire, you would have did anything. He's saying do something simple right now. Let's try it out. It might work. And you know what he did? The prophet told him to jump in the water 6 times, I believe, or 7 times. And when he come out the 7th or the 8th time, he'll be healed. And he did it. It looked foolish, but it worked. It wasn't what he did. It was the purpose behind it. You know what I mean? So sometimes there's purpose behind the grind. There's purpose behind certain things we do that might look foolish to others. It's okay. It's okay. But you're still going to get that blessing. You're still going to get that healing. You're still going to get those finances. You're still going to be able to live, to enjoy life. So let's keep things simple. There's no reason to complicate things. Let's figure out ways that we can be able to build some finances with our trades. That's what I'm about with HogOn University, is using our trades, turning our trade into a business. HogOn.